Alright, some disclaimer here. I'm no expert in this trippy spin reverse move. I'm still working very hard on getting it right, but otherwise I think I've got it down to share some tips and tricks. So take it with a pinch of salt and let's learn something together. The trippy spin rewind, or as I like to call it, Vanny trippy, is really an advanced level trick that requires you to be very comfortable spinning to the left and to the right during a trippy spin. But what essentially it is spinning around a tall tree like this one and upside down. To illustrate better, I'll use a handheld camera to show you what I'm actually doing before taking flight. So when you come close to the tree, you look up. You have two options of either you spin to the left or you can spin to the right. I usually spin to the right because that's my weakest point, weakest direction. So I prefer to go to the right first, make sure I get it comfortable. And once you spin to the right, and you got the angle correctly, what you actually need to do, instead of coming back, you don't. You actually need to go this way. You catch that? So you actually need to go more. So now I'm turning to the left, right? If I want to go back to the right, I have to go this way. Alright? And there are quite a lot of things to take note of if you want to do a trippy spin or this Vanny trippy, because it really matters with your camera angle. So for me, I'm at 35, which is very high speed, but I have to get it at 35 in order to get the quad relatively flat to the ground. Because if I am at 25, for example, in order to see the tree that I'm spinning around, I have to go at a higher angle like this one. And if I am at a higher angle before I can see the tree, that means I drop quicker. And in order to counter the drop, I have to push myself forward faster, just like if you were to do a race in this direction. One thing that our dear Captain Vanover mentioned is that he used a Runcam wide-angle lens as opposed to this stock DJI camera. This is because even at his 25-degree camera angle, I'm assuming he will be able to see the tree that he's spinning around before needing to tilt at a high angle and falling down quicker. And as a final tip for this Vanny trippy, in order to do the direction change, you actually need to change the direction fairly quickly before the quad decides that, okay, I have no surface air underneath my quad and I'm gonna drop. So you need to do, like, for example, if I'm spinning this way, I have to go quicker. Just one more thing to add, I feel like it should be called a Vanny trippy because just like Matty Flip, it is essentially a reverse power loop, but they gave it a name, the Matty Flip. And trippy spin itself is essentially an inverted orbit, and because it's, you know, people gave it name, I feel that Alex Vanover deserves this trick to be called with his name after him. So I think we should just call it Vanny trippy. You think so? A good thing to do is to find a very tall structure like this kind in this simulator. I mean, this is DRL's 4.0 latest version, and I'm already loving this map, this brand new map, Mega City. And okay, anyway, I find this structure very good for learning how to do trippy spin reverse because of this huge canopy on the top of this tower, and that will help you to guide and know your orientation. So without further ado, let's go to it. So the first thing you want to do is be able to do trippy. Tall structures like this allows you to do it really slow because you're actually flying really high and very wide trippy. So if you look at my stick, I'm actually rolling very little because I'm doing a very big building. So when I want to reverse, I have to do what I call an overroll. See that? When I overroll it, I actually roll to the other side. There we go. And let's do again. And let's do again. I also do a little bit of a yaw. If you look carefully, I yaw a little bit to compensate because I want to keep the target, the top of the canopy in sight. This is just yaw, roll without any yawing. And obviously I crashed. Let's try that again without any yawing. This will be it. Okay, so overall without yawing, you see you're not actually looking back at the target. So you need to compensate that with yaw. So now I'm going right side, I think overroll and yaw. Overroll and yaw. Overroll and yaw. There we go. So that's basically it.
And for a more realistic practice, I like to come to this Illigis Freestyle place. It's a community map, so you can find it under, I think, community map section and look for Illigis Freestyle place. The reason is because it has some very properly sized light posts, like for example this one. And you have to roll more, yaw more to get it in control. So let's get into Trippy first. Okay. And there we go. I guess maybe I can also touch on a little bit of the Trippy Spins basic. What you want to do is to come close to your target, look up, and then roll and coordinate it with the yaw. If you want to get close to the pole, you actually give it more throttle and more roll. See, I'm getting closer and closer. But of course, with more throttle, it comes with more speed, and you gain altitude easily, so you gotta maybe like pitch it down and control with your pitch. What I always think of it is like a what do I call it? Reverse orbit, upside down orbit. Okay, so if you can think of it as an orbit, you'll be fine. Let me get it back. Let's drop some altitude here and get it closer to the pole. So you want to look like you're doing a regular Mr. Steele's orbit, but the sky is now your ground, if that makes sense to you. Because Mr. Steele's orbit is pretty much like this, like a hard inwards orbit. I think the final thing I want to point out is that a lot of times when in real world, it happens like twice as fast. So maybe you want to practice Trippy spin to a short tree like this one and see if you can still pull it off without hitting the ground. That will definitely help a lot when you go to real world situation.
I mean, that's it. That is the Vanny Trippy. So do drop a comment in the comment below to let me know if you managed to do the Vanny Trippy. And if my video helped you, please do remember to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.